All right, let's go photobomb and check on Flair. Kind of reminds me of my gym physical, what you're doing there. Yeah. All right, guys, notice anything different here at my pond? Damn, the thing is so expensive. I want this to be done. All right, guys, I want to bring you guys up to date on all the dirt work that we've been doing on this property. We started with just a sloping hill a little over a year ago, and there was nothing out here, but we had the neighbors had all their huge horses that were eating all the grass. I'll show you a picture of that. But since then, Chad, the dirt guy, has been working here quite a bit. We decided we got a pond going, which you guys know about. I'll bring you up to date on that. We've got some dirt issues where it's been washing out. Hopefully I'll get sprinklers and sod in the next couple of days. But every time we backfill, we get a heavy rain, it ends up going right down across my driveway into the pond, and we got to get that stopped. I got to get a fence because I want this to be a private property. When people drive down the road, they look right into my house. So I've got some posts set up and some string line to kind of get a sense of what is the height of the fence so I can keep my cost down. Don't want to go too high or too low. I got to find it like baby bear's porridge, make it just right. So we'll give you a tour, bring you all around the site, show you the greenhouse chickens, and show you where the new barn site's going. So let's get geared up and take a tour. I went up on top of the hill, and what I love about this property is I got these huge expansive views, but I'm on the road that's the main road that kind of comes and goes, and I've realized a lot of cars slow down and they're always looking down into my property. And living in the country, you want privacy. So I'm coming up with an idea where I feel like I need to build a privacy fence right along here. And I'll give you a sense of the road's probably about 3 or 4 foot higher than where the fence would go. So a 4-foot fence will do nothing. 5 or 6 might do the job. So here's what I came up with, you guys. Went and put a couple stakes in the ground. This one here's about 4.5 foot tall. And I put a tape on, and then I put another one. This is a little over 6 foot tall. And I found out when I'm sitting in my living room downstairs, I'm looking up, I see cars go by, they're always underneath this tape. So my little engineering idea was, how do I determine what the height of the fence would be? So if I can keep it at 6 foot or under, I don't need a permit, and also it's going to save me some money. It's a steel fence, and then I got to buy a whole bunch of these 4x6 posts. This happens to be cedar. I just use it as a temporary one. We dumped a whole bunch in Nate's front yard, so I got to move those out later today. Let me know what you guys think of this fence idea I have. So here's the situation where if I plant a bunch of trees, which is what some people are saying, that's going to take a while for this to fill completely in. A fence does 2 things: helps keep the animals and stuff in the property, also keeps people from trying to get in and out. But I like the look of this thing. I'm willing to spend that a little extra money. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but at some point I got to stop with that. But I'm getting into her swimming pool budget, so shh, don't tell her that. All right, so you can see the other day I went and bought what they call swaddles. All this mud is sliding down the hill across my driveway going into the pond. And as we learn, check this out. Well, it's still a little muddy. My gutter, because I don't want a gutter on the front of the column, it looks kind of ugly. So my idea was to put a chain that would come down and maybe have rocks and some stuff. I haven't put that in place yet. So in the meantime, this stuff, when it rains like crazy, it just washes all the way out. It creates quite some heavy duty ruts. I thought we had this compacted, but right now it doesn't look like it. And I got my buddy John using my Bobcat. So I figured it'd be better for him to use it. So if he rolls it into the hole, it's not on me. This is my swaddle, and it's heavy. I put the swaddle here because there's a major hole. Look at this. Jeez. If I knew how to drive a Bobcat better, I would be inside the Bobcat and versus on the outside doing all this manual labor stuff. So we do have a master landscape plan but it's going to take some time to get it all in place. So right now they just want us to get everything sodded, and then we'll come back later, plant some trees, pull the sod out, because I need this ground cover, and more importantly, I need a place for my dogs to do their business, because they're bringing all this mud into the house. Every time it rains, I just dread letting these 4 dogs outside. So nobody wants to keep wiping off all their feet. 4 dogs, y'all have 4 feet. That's 16 paws I gotta clean off every time it rains. So last Sunday's project, Max and I went and got all this. We have about 50 foot of this PVC, that green sewer and water piping, and we trenched it and went all the way down. So had it not been done, when it rained, this would have been another huge ditch. So everything runs down there. It's doing its business, going right out into the creek. So that's working out very nice. So all that water comes down here, and with the rain we've had, it hardly even washed stuff out, which is amazing. Wash. This could be a wash, but it didn't wash out. There, I said that right. It doesn't seem like much, but when the sod guys come and the sprinkler guys, mostly the sod guys, they don't want to be laying sod over all these ruts. So I have to time it just right. We got to get all this graded. Sprinkler guys coming tomorrow, and hopefully if it goes right, the sod guys are right behind them. Which reminds me, I have to measure all this and give them a square footage of how much sod I need, because last thing I want them is to come out with too little or too much. So once again, I got to do the math. All right, I got a little bit of a balancing act. I have 2 different dirt crews working out here. I got Chad, the dirt guys, that have been working on this pond and grading everything forever, putting in the roads. And then I have a guy named John Camden that's a local guy that's coming in. He's bringing all his equipment, and he's been helping me grade and fine tune my yard. So I'm short on time. Remember, it's middle of October, and all I need is rain, and then it throws everything out of whack. So if I can get more guys in here to get this job done, get the sod, sprinklers, and landscaping, then I'm set for winter. Hopefully I'll be able to keep working on this pond, because you can see Dale over here is waiting for the dump truck, which they're filling up at one end. They're lowering down this road to take the dirt, because my pond guy came out and said he wants this thing about 15 foot deep. You can see the first layer, that was about 10 foot deep. So they've raised it up another 5, and we're using that shelf is where we're going to have to shelf all the way around this pond. Is when they bring the liner up, they shelf it. That's where all the filtration system goes. The bigger rocks holds everything in place. And then we take the liner up one more time to create kind of the beach area. Dale's over here now grading off the backside of this huge dam. The thing is so expensive. I want this to be done with. Should be just about there. Chad tells me he just needs a few more days to finish this up. And I'll take you guys down and show you how they're lowering this road to get the dirt out of here to move it to the dam. And then they're building a road to the barn site. So here comes the big dump truck. It's got a tiny little horn. Sounds like this. Beep, beep. There's Dale. He loves to honk that little horn. That tells the dump truck guy he's gone far enough. I hope he honks before he rolls all the way down the hill. Oh, there it is. I told you. I don't know why, I never get tired of watching these heavy equipment go back and forth. It'd be a lot more fun if my meter wasn't running, but at least you guys are enjoying it at no cost. Okay, every action has a reaction. The dam got taller. This was the road that we were taking down to the greenhouse and the chicken coop. As you can see, the dam's getting so wide and big. Look at the dump truck. This road is no good anymore. He's got to make a whole new road going right by the chicken coop. I don't think he's got very good eyesight, so I didn't want to hang around too close to him. Well, put that on the punch list for Chad on more repairs. Add a horn to the big dump truck. One thing about living in the country and developing property in the country, you don't have sewer, you don't have water, and you don't have power. The most expensive thing, I think, is the power side, because luckily I had a power pole at the top of the hill. But when they pull power now, you don't want power lines. They want to do everything underground, which I'm in huge favor of. So this cone represents where they trenched it all the way up to the top of the hill. It's really not that far. It might be about 250 feet. And then from here, they ran it down to a transformer. So The next thing is I got to get power, which is about another 1,500 feet from here all the way down to where Chad and the dirt guys are digging, because that's where the barn's going to be and potentially the next house. So I'm going to get a price on that. God, I don't know, maybe I just put solar in and forget it, but I don't think there's enough there to run an entire house and a barn. So I'm meeting the power guy out here in a couple of days to give me a price on that. And again, that's another project that's got to get in before the ground freezes. So everybody's scrambling. We got hopefully about a 30-day window before everything turns to winter. So we got 3 Bobcats going. This is number 3, and I wanted to show you guys how they offload this thing. I wonder if they'd let me do it. I'll leave it up to the pros. I'll just keep mine on flat ground so I'm a little more successful. All right, so we're at the far east end of the property, and you can't even see this from my house or the other pad site. So down here at the bottom of this valley, we've even dug it out a little bit more. I don't know if they dug it out. Yeah, they did. They dug it out to lower this, because I'm going to be putting in a barn that's 100 foot long and about 60 foot wide. And I've been teetering with, I do a pole barn, a metal barn. So there's also a new product I'm out here looking at right now that's a wall system that has rigid foam on the inside and OSB on both sides. So it's a panel, and it's kind of like those commercial buildings we've been showing you, but this is all out of wood, very highly insulated. So I'm getting some prices on that. That's a third option. So if I build it, I want this to be forever, and I want it to be insulated really well, and that's one way of doing it. So I'll drive you down here and show you kind of the idea of where it's going to go and how we're going to get a road into this spot yet. So I'll get on my side-by-side. So the idea would be is we would drive down, and there'll be a parking area. Hope this isn't too muddy. We'll come in here, and there'll be about a 80 by 60. All this will be parking, and at about right in this area, starting about right now, then this, here we're spinning, is all going to be barn. And what I would like to do at this one end, about right here where it drops off, is down the road, and eventually is maybe have my office, kind of a man cave. The whole back end is glass, because look at those views. And then I could build a deck off of it. So this could be a work in progress, but right now I just got to get a barn in the ground so I can store stuff. The door is going to be a very prominent, big 14 by 14 door, kind of looking a little bit like the houses that we've been building here. And then you would drive in, and then you could drive in, go out the other side. So parking way in the back, so it's out of sight, but the front entry looks nice and pretty. So let me know what you think of that. So this would be where the barn looks out, and check this out. My wife is chomping at the bit to light the match to get that bonfire started. That's one of about 3 piles on the property. But right now it's so windy, you can see I've got my hand over the mic, so if it's hearing some wind, I apologize. And then over there, it looks like a Boy Scout camp. That's the chicken tractors that for the season, they're done raising the meat chickens. So eventually we're gonna pack all those up, load them on a trailer, and move them down to the bottom of the hill. You know, every farm, every ranch, you got to have a place to put all your junk. So I'm trying to get as close to Flair's property as possible. Sorry, Andrew. I'll put it in the tree so you can't see it. One idea Chad had to make it more interesting is build a road between these 2 trees, so you'll come down, that eventually if I ever build a house, I'm not looking at the road going to the barn. So that is what's got to be dug out yet. And as you can see here, this is the temporary road they've been using to take the dirt in and out. And again, another burn pile at the top of the hill. Soon we'll have multiple bonfires, but I got to make sure my wife is the one that lights the match. Otherwise I'll be in big trouble. So this will get a sense of how much dirt that they've been taking down at this pad site. All that has got to be removed, and that's where the road's going to go down to the barn. So all this has come out just to raise that pond up to the proper height to get me 15 foot deep. So hopefully we're just about done, because I'm tired of paying the bills. I like watching the equipment, but I know it costs. So let's get these things out of here and start working on a new project. All right, let's come down here and check on the greenhouse and check out, I see the boys over there, the Farmer Brown kids are doing some harvesting. Let's go see what that is. So how do you know where to dig? So you can
see this.
Just that sticking out there?
Different color. It's hard because this is our last one, but.
Oh, this is all what's on top of it, right? You pull that.
So this is what we planted, and then they bring off these runners, and these runners will shake down roots, and then you have not only these potatoes, but they'll put potatoes kind of everywhere else, like these little skinny.
That's a little skinny
potato.
potato.
So I'll show you. Like this is our last one for this row.
Okay.
They're really hard because we're in this clay soil. Me and Nate have just been using a shovel in our hands.
So somewhere like about a 12, 18-inch diameter.
So
they're all down. Wow, that's
one
a big
plant.
one. That's a.
That's a good one.
I heard a crunch.
Yeah,
that was okay.
Yeah. The vines keep growing down.
Oh man, they just grow kind of funky, don't they?
Yeah, they just.
So they're still going way down
still
in there.
more in there.
Oh, look at that. It's a mother lode of
Yeah.
sweet potatoes.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of sweet potatoes.
All right, let's go photobomb and check on Flair and bust his video. Hey, I've been doing a cameo photobombing. Remember the little Sesame Street song, "One of these things is not like the other"? Well, here I am at Flair's pond. This one is nothing like my pond. Let me show you. All right, guys, notice anything different here at my pond? I got a mud hole. Holds water, which is not what I want. I need the water out so I can finish working on this thing. Maybe I could give Andrew a few tips, or maybe take some of this dirt over to his house.
I'm trying to sex him. You want to help?
What? Is that legal in this state? Kind of reminds me of my gym physical, what you're doing there.
Yeah. Cough.
It's kind of enjoying it. All right, guys, as you can see, this has become quite a big project. It's a little bit more than what I had hoped to take on, but I'm really enjoying it. Digging the pond to creating the pad site for the house, everything just seems to cost more. No different than building a custom home. There's all kinds of little surprises, but it works out well in the end. I just hope my checkbook can handle it. So we've got to get the fence in. We just finished grading the yard. We're ready for sprinklers tomorrow. Dale over here is waiting on another load of dirt. They continue to take down that hill that gets me to my barn. The gravel, that's another thing I gotta buy, more rock, because winter is coming soon, and that's the race that I'm up against. How much can I get done here before the winter conditions of Mother Nature shuts me down? Hopefully it stays dry, because then Dale, they can wrap up. They say they just need maybe 3 or 4 more days, and then I can start fine-tuning everything, landscaping, and get this place looking like a house. So hopefully next time we come back, I'll have grass. This truck equipment is not here anymore, but I like watching it. I'm Brad the Builder. I'll see you guys on the next job site.